Grant is a former colonel in the British Defence Attaché to Finland and a military analyst. He joins me now from Tartu in Estonia. Colonel, this move by Finland to join NATO, do you think that it will actually make Finland safer?
Yes, I do, because it's always been a high-risk country, and judging by what Russia has been doing with Ukraine, it has no mercy about killing people or trashing cities or anything else. And when Finland is outside of Russia, outside of NATO, then it's got to be a target.
What value would Finland add to NATO?
Well, quite a lot, because it's got a very good defence force, generally well trained, with good equipment, and also it's got an extremely strong air force, and it's due to get the F-35, the latest aircraft, in its next bid for buy of equipment. And don't forget also that this is not just Finland, but Sweden hope to come in at the same time. And if they do that, then we also get in NATO the Swedish Air Force, which is good, and also the Swedish Navy, which has things like submarines.
So if and when Finland and Sweden join NATO, would we see an immediate change? What would we likely see take place?
Well, the biggest thing is that the Baltic Sea area, which at the moment is sort of the boundary of NATO, with the Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania down one side, suddenly becomes a NATO sea, which completely changes things, the command and control of that sea, and the airspace down it as well, because that also becomes NATO airspace, which makes it a lot harder for Russia on that side of the country to deal with places like Kaliningrad. So it strengthens NATO and the northeast of Europe hugely.
In the interim, before these countries join NATO, assuming that the other 30 member states approve their application to join, do you think that it's realistic that there is a greater security risk now to these countries, now that Finland has announced? Do you think that we might see a retaliation from Russia?
It's a very good question. I mean, Russia has actually got a problem at the moment because it's so engaged in Ukraine, heavily engaged in Ukraine. And it doesn't have much spare. When Finland first said that they were going to do this a couple of weeks ago, Russia sent missiles to the border with Finland. But some of those missiles weren't even ground-to-ground missiles. They were ground-to-sea, so they couldn't have fired them to do anything anyway. But that just shows the problems that they've got. But Great Britain has actually taken a note of this and has just signed an agreement with Sweden and Finland that Britain will come to their aid if something happens. And that, of course, makes a huge difference, because now you're linking three countries together, which makes it a lot harder for Russia to think about doing anything serious.
All right, we'll leave it there for now. Glenn Grant joining us from Estonia. Thank you.